After looking at the results to every game every single week, I stop and think to myself for a second. Okay, I've seen it all. There can't be a worse upset than we saw the previous week. I'm not going to say it's not entertaining. It's just terrible for my pick'ems.
I gave you fair warning, beware. Smack him in the mouth. Toward the end zone, it is caught for the touchdown. Smack him in the mouth. I gave you fair warning, beware. I'll smack him in the mouth.
What is up, everyone? It is Mike, and I am on the mic, bringing you Mike's Pick'ems Challenge for Week 12. We went 8-7 last week. Let's take a look at how all of our score predictions aged. 27-13 Patriots in this game. Now I'm going to say that the Bills take this one 35-21.
I'm an idiot! You're an idiot!
I think this game stays tight and the Ravens squeak out another close one and win 24-21. Kind of a little bit of a get-right game. I think they win 38-14 over the Detroit Lions. I'm going to say the Titans take this one. I'm going to say it's in a blowout fashion. We'll go with 35-7 Titans.
I'm an idiot! You're an idiot!
I think that Green Bay is the best team in football when they're healthy, and I'm going to stick with that take, and I'm going to go with Green Bay beating the Minnesota Vikings 31-21 Green Bay.
I'm an idiot!
Jets. I've been betting against the Dolphins every game this season, and for the most part, it's been working out. So I'm going to do it again.
I'm an idiot! You're an idiot!
I'm going to go with 17-14 Eagles. And I think they win this game, and I'm going to go with Carolina 23, Washington 21.
I'm an idiot! You're an idiot!
49ers win this game. I think they win it pretty comfortably. I'm going to go with 28-10. I think the Bengals win this game, and I think the Bengals win this game comfortably. I'm going to go with the score prediction of 35-17 Bengals. And I see the Seahawks winning this game 31-28 against the Arizona Cardinals. It's tough to go into Seattle and win still.
I'm an idiot!
I'm going to take the Chargers to win this game 31 on that depleted Pittsburgh defense, 2-14. Hopefully we can slow down Najee. That's going to be the key to the game for us. I don't think the Chiefs are as complete as the Cowboys, so I'm going to take the Cowboys to win this game in a shootout. 41-34. Cowboys take it and shock the Chiefs.
I'm an idiot!
So I'm going to actually go ahead and say that they hang in there until the fourth quarter, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take off, and they win this game 34-24. As you probably already know, we didn't do so hot for the fourth straight week, which is insane because I had a 3-week stretch there, I think between like weeks 4 and 7, where I only had lost like 3 games if you combined all the weeks. So I'm very fortunate to have this 104-61 record. This could be a very embarrassing look right now. We could be below 100 wins and over 70 losses very easily. But man, something's got to give. Just when you think you figure out all these teams, you see what happens in week 10. You see what happens in week 11. You see what happens when you think you know it all. Last week's in the past, and that is where it shall stay. We're going to get into the pick'ems for this week's games. Every single game, all season long, and I want you to compete along with me. So you got to be subscribed and have notifications on so you can see this video every week when it posts. And also keep track of your record in the comment section below. Drop any disagreements you have with me, or if you just agree with all my picks, whatever it might be. Also, before we get into it, just take the second to also smash the like button while you're down there. It helps out a ton in the algorithm that we're fighting every single day. All right, let's get into these games, and we're starting off with a great one. We got the Chicago Bears traveling to Detroit to meet the winless Lions. I always complain about being a Chargers fan growing up, and I still complain about being a Chargers fan to this day, although the Chargers are turning it around as of late. Sincerely send my condolences out to Lions fans, because this is just brutal at this point. At least the Texans go and grab a bunch of veterans and put them out there so you can at least compete. At least the Jets draft a bunch of youngsters and give their fan base some kind of hope for a future 5 years down the line. At least the Jaguars had a short period where they had Saxonville, and now they have Trevor Lawrence, which also gives them some hope of a future. The Lions never have hope. They never have hope. They deserve some hope. You guys heard the news. This is Matt Nagy's last game coaching the Bears. And that is not the only problems with the Bears. I think Andy Dalton's going to play in this game. And not that I think that Andy Dalton is terrible. Not that I think that Andy Dalton is going to ruin their chances of winning this game. I just don't see the offense putting up points with Andy Dalton. I see them settling for a bunch of field goals. And here it is. I am taking, on Thanksgiving, bright and early in the morning, I'll be awake with my eyes wide open watching closely because I am taking the Detroit Lions to win this game 17-16 on a missed extra point by the Bears. A win is a win, and the Lions will take it gladly, I'm sure. And that's a really good send-off for Matt Nagy, so all the fans and everyone can just be in unison. Yep. You're done, bro. You're done. He's going to get booed off the field. He's going to get actually booed off of the field. The next Thanksgiving Day game we have the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Dallas to see the Dallas Cowboys. Knock, knock. Who's there? Not a chance. Not a chance who? Not a chance in hell do the Raiders win this game. Look, y'all know how much I've been backing the Cowboys all year long. I took them to beat the Chiefs last week. The offense just didn't show up, and that's going to happen in games, especially when you got a bunch of young receivers on this offense. CeeDee Lamb, a big player on this offense. Michael Gallup, a big player on this offense. Dalton Schultz, the tight end, big player on this offense. Then you look into the backfield, Ezekiel Elliott is banged up, and it's been Tony Pollard. They're going to have random games where they just don't show up. They don't have the right mentality. And that Chiefs game was one that makes sense to happen, going into Arrowhead against a really good, scary Chiefs team, I guess if that's what you want to call them. We'll talk about the Chiefs here in a minute. They only put up 19 points in that game where their defense played absolutely unbelievable. But anyways, I think this is a perfect game for the Cowboys to bounce back and have a big game against this Raiders team that has absolutely fallen apart. And I already went on my Raiders rant last week. This team's going into the dumps. I think they win 7 games now, maybe 8 if they can pull off some games later in the season. Lost your head coach, lost your number 1 weapon, don't have the depth to kind of survive that. Don't have the experience on this team. Got a lot of young guys on this team to survive that. And I think the Raiders lose to any good teams that they play the rest of the way. They may even lose to some bad teams like we saw with New York, like we saw with Chicago earlier in the season. There were holes and cracks in this ship from the get-go, and I was pointing them out. The Raider Nation holding strong. You got to give them their respect and their props for backing their team so heavily, despite obviously probably seeing all these holes that they had. Anyways, I'm going to take the Cowboys to win this game in blowout fashion again. I got the blowout last week with the Bengals over the Raiders. Missed it by 3 points for each team, I believe. And I'm going to say a blowout happens again in this one. I'm going to take the Cowboys to win 31-7. 31-7 Cowboys is the pick. And then we got the Thursday night game, the Thanksgiving dinner game between the Buffalo Bills and New Orleans Saints. Now, ask me a couple weeks ago, I'm taking the Bills with no doubts in my mind. But in the last 3 weeks, the Bills have lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars and now just lost to the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Indianapolis Colts loss isn't as embarrassing as the Jaguars loss, especially when they only put up 6 points on that Jaguars defense, because the Colts can rise up and be a playoff-level team. We've seen them do it a couple times this year, and we all expected them to be this kind of a team where they might have a bad record because their schedule is tough, but really, they can compete with anyone in the league at any given Sunday. I mean, really, that's been the story for every team this year. And they're playing another team that is exactly like that and built exactly like that. And if the Saints had Jameis Winston in New Orleans on Thanksgiving, where the Saints famously play really well, I may take the Saints in this game. But I'm not going to take Trevor Siemian. The Bills should win this game. I got to use some kind of logic in the prediction still. Give me the Bills to win it 27-20. Hopefully, they take care of business and put the Saints down. I think the Saints defense shows a little bit of fight in this game. And like I said, the Saints always play good on Thanksgiving. I don't know what it is, but I am a person that believes in trends like that. So I think the Saints play them really tough still, and the Bills squeak out a victory, and they can start to try and get back on track. First morning game on Sunday, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to play the Colts, who did just take down the Buffalo Bills. And And like I said, the Colts can play up to any team, and the Colts can hang tough in any game. And I think they do hang tough in this game, but I'm going to take Tom Brady. I'm going to take the Super Bowl champs. They had a little bit of a get-right game this last week against New York, really dominating that entire game. The Colts have such a tough schedule. They've played tough teams all year long. They've got more tough teams to come in the future. And man, as a Colts fan, you just got to feel like you're getting beat up. Jonathan Taylor is the real deal, though. Let's talk about him for a second. While I still need to see a longer term of dominance like this kid has the potential to be one of those top 5 guys for like 3 or 4 or 5 years, maybe even. The Colts need to build this team around him. They need to keep investing in the O-line and keeping them healthy, keeping them young, keeping them hungry. And I think the combination of Wentz handing the ball off to Jonathan Taylor plus a healthy offensive line is the formula for success for the Colts offense. And then the defense obviously has been solid the last couple of years. Just keep improving upon the defense. This Colts team can make the playoffs this year if they go on a run late in the year. I just don't think it's going to happen because their schedule is so tough. They got to pull off 3 or 4 upsets still the rest of the way, including this one, which I'm not going to take them in. I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game 38-24. A little bit of a blowout. I think the Colts hang in with them up until the 3rd or 4th quarter and the Bucks take off. That's what these kind of great loaded up offenses do. They wait till you get a little bit tired and then they just unleash all the weapons they got on the side of the ball. Oof, this is a real stinker. Poopy game of the week. New York Jets traveling to Houston to play the Houston Texans. I put my eggs in your basket last week, Joe Flacco. That wasn't a good one. Cut that one out. But anyways, I took the Jets to beat the Dolphins. They couldn't even do that for me. Now, I don't think the Texans are much better than the Dolphins, but I do think with Tyrod Taylor playing the way he's playing, they're a little bit better than the Dolphins. So give me the Texans to win this one. I think it'll be an entertaining game. I think Tyrod puts up some points in this one. 42-17 Texans. We got the Fly Eagles fly, red hot Eagles, heading to New York to play the ice cold Giants. Giants fans, is it time? Can we all say it's time? Daniel Jones is not the one. And you have to make a decision right now, Giants fans. Are you blaming Daniel Jones for this, or are you blaming the coaching staff? I saw they fired Jason Garrett already. Do you want Joe Judge out already? A guy who is starting to get this team in the right direction? Or do you want to move on to a new quarterback like you should? Because Daniel Jones is never going to be an above average guy because he has the turnover prone issue still. Everyone tells me that he's doing better this year, but every time I've watched him play, he steps back and throws balls straight at defenders. Throws balls straight at defensive linemen are intercepting him on Monday Night Football. I don't think he's playing much better. Maybe he's playing a little bit better, but I still see him throwing into traffic and just getting a little bit luckier that they aren't getting picked off. It's not showing up on the stat sheet. The Eagles, on the other hand, are red hot, man. Jalen Hurts seems to be going to the moon. I mean, he improves every single week, and we were in a situation where the Eagles were in the Deshaun Watson talks. We're in the Aaron Rodgers talks. We're in the Russell Wilson talks. But I think that they need to pump the brakes a little bit and really evaluate this kid's season and his trajectory, because every single week it seems like he's improving. And this last week, I saw him making pre-snap reads against a really good defense that's good at disguising defenses and making the right reads and getting the ball out to the right person like he's Mac Jones or like he's one of these IQ-based football players. I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts isn't smart. That's not what I'm trying to say. But he used to just throw into traffic a lot. He used to just throw down the field, just throw it up for grabs a lot. Even as earlier in this season. Last season for sure, but even earlier in this season. So to see him really bringing it all together, he can use his mobility and he can use that little bit of IQ play. He can make up for a little bit of lack of arm talent that we've seen plague him even in his college football career, lead to him losing his starting spot in his college football career. He can make up for it by becoming elite at those other parts of his game. And this kid, man, I love Jalen Hurts' story. He has overcome the odds time and time again. And when he's doubted time and time again, he seems to rise up and prove everyone wrong. I'm taking the Eagles to win this game. It would really age poorly if we're watching a clip of me just hyping Jalen Hurts and the Eagles up like this and then they lose the game. But I'm going to take the Eagles to win. It is a division game. I think it is close. I'm going to take them to win 24-21. Game-winning field goal for the Eagles. We got the Panthers. Cam Newton's back, baby. Heading to Miami to play the Miami Dolphins. I'm tired of the Cam hate. I admit, as a Cam Newton supporter, he's never going to be what he once was. That's kind of accepted by anyone who supports Cam Newton. But if you sit in front of me and tell me that Cam Newton is not a top 32, let alone top 25, probably top 20 quarterback on the planet right now, you're lying to yourself and you're lying to me. He deserves a spot in the NFL. He should be playing in the NFL. He's probably got 2 or 3 more years of playing in the NFL. And he showed that in his first game back against Washington. He played amazing, made a couple great throws, which was surprising even to me who supports him. But more so, he didn't turn over the ball. He didn't cause any issues that Sam Darnold normally would cause. It looked like the entire stadium in his first game back to Carolina were excited to see him, and the team rallies around this guy. And for the Dolphins, I've been betting against the Dolphins all season long. And betting against the Dolphins has led to me having a 7-4 record betting against the Dolphins all season long. But they proved me wrong last week. They proved me wrong the week before that. And they proved me wrong the week before that. The Dolphins are on a 3-game winning streak. Tua's not playing any better. I'm not going to say that. But he is keeping the turnovers down and letting his defense help him win some of these games. And the defense is starting to look like it did last year. With all that being said, I'm going to take the Panthers to win. I'm going to take the Panthers to win 27-14. This is one of the games of the week. We got the Tennessee Titans heading into Foxborough to see the New England Patriots. Titans drop random games. That's what they do. And I think you're going to see that. You're going to see some inconsistency from this offense down the stretch. This is what everyone's worrying about with Derrick Henry coming out of the offense. If they can't run the ball, the play action doesn't work, and the whole offense just comes crumbling down. Hopefully Foreman can continue to be solid, combined with Adrian Peterson and Nichols when he's out there. I think that this Titans team is heading to the playoffs for sure. You can lock them in, probably winning the division. But this is a tough task. Going to Foxborough, playing a red-hot on a 5-game winning streak against some tough teams, New England Patriots squad. Bill Belichick has found his guy in Mac Jones. He knows exactly what he needs to do to pull off wins, to pull off gritty wins like the Patriots used to do. I was telling you guys that Bill Belichick had a master plan last year. They won 7 games last year with a roster that wouldn't even win 3 games if it was coached by Matt Nagy. And I'm going to take the Patriots to win this one. In a close one. I'm going to go 2017 Patriots. Classic Patriots victory, right? Late in the season, game-winning field goal. Nick Folk comes out and nails it. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers going to Cincy to play the Cincinnati Bengals. The Steelers are now 5-4-1, so they're still in the hunt here for the AFC North with the Ravens, kind of dealing with a lot more injury problems than any other team in that division. And let me say this, the fact that they are making it through these injury problems and being as good as they are and having the record that they have, John Harbaugh deserves some consideration for Coach of the Year because this is pure coaching. I'll tell you that right now. Defensive scheme and coaching is what is keeping the Ravens afloat right now. I don't know if that's going to last in the playoffs. They were my Super Bowl pick. I am a little bit worried about it right now. I'm going to stick with them because I think if they can get even half of these guys back, they're going to go back to being a dominant top AFC team. But for now, I am a little bit worried about the Ravens. We're talking about the Steelers and the Bengals. I got completely sidetracked. I'm going to take the Bengals to win this one. I don't know what's going on with the Steelers health-wise and the defensive side of the ball. Maybe I'll change this pick if things are starting to change and we're going to hear that Minka, Watt, and Hayden and all these guys are coming back to the lineup. For now, I'm going to take the Bengals to tear up this defense just like the Chargers did. And I'm going to take them to win this game 34-18. Next up, we got the Atlanta Falcons facing the Jacksonville Jaguars in another shit game, if you ask me. The Falcons have scored 3 points in the last 8 quarters. I just acquired Kyle Pitts via trade, and I don't believe in this jinx. I'm trying not to believe in this jinx, but when shit like this happens, to me constantly, all my life, you gotta start to think, I'm gonna fade whatever Mike says. And with that being said, I still think the Falcons are one of the higher tier bad teams in the league. And what does that mean? Teams like the Jaguars, teams like the Jets, teams like the Dolphins included in that, Lions, Giants, you get the gist. These teams with really bad records, I think that Seattle and Atlanta aren't really in the same tier. They're kind of in a middle tier where they're just struggling from injuries, tough schedules, and just not quite being a well-rounded team playing well-rounded teams. So I think the Falcons win this game. I do think it's going to be very close. Kyle Pitts needs to come out and have a game for my fantasy team and for everyone that saw what he was doing for that little hot streak that he had that made us all trade for him. I'm going to take the Falcons to win this one. A bunch of field goals. I'm going to take it 23-10 Falcons. Ooh, buddy. We got the Chargers going to Denver to play the Denver Broncos. And the Chargers showed that their offense is willing to elevate multiple times this year, actually, the Browns game and the Steelers game, that they're ready to elevate and go and win games in the fourth quarter, which is something that we have not seen from the Chargers offense in previous years with Philip Rivers. And I love Philip Rivers to death. It's not a shot at Philip. It's not a shot at Philip Rivers. It is not a shot at Philip Rivers by any means necessary. This team's just different. It's not built the same. We have a loaded up offense. The fifth weapon in this offense is Jared Cook, who has been a consistent tight end in this league for years. And when you got number 10 throwing the ball and you got a quarterback like that with all of these weapons, you see games like you saw in Pittsburgh where they're just unstoppable. And yes, Pittsburgh's defense was depleted because of injuries, but those guys still are in the NFL that were on the field. Herbert made it look like he was playing against a high school or a college JV team. But anyways, this Chargers team is ready to get into shootouts. This Chargers team is ready to win shootouts. They are set to go to the playoffs right now. That win in Pittsburgh puts them at 6-4, and the path is very clear because you got New York, you got Houston, you got Vegas, all still on the schedule, which all should be chalked up as wins. We got to play KC one more time, but if you win this game in Denver, that KC game has a lot less pressure. Yes, you'll be playing for the division. You want to win that KC game, but when it comes to your playoff hopes, you can kind of lock them in with a win against Denver here. Going to 7-4 with the rest of the AFC middle tier teams kind of playing each other this week. This is a huge game for the Chargers. You want to be a playoff team, you got to go and beat the Broncos. For the Broncos, they're holding on to some kind of wild card hope, but I think that the writing is on the wall for them that they're not going to make the playoffs this year. I wonder if after this game, if they do lose, that they head into a little bit of a tank scenario to try and get a higher draft pick for a quarterback. Not sure what the strategy is going to be for Denver following this game, but they always play the Chargers tough. It's in Denver. I think this is another tough game for the Bolts, and I'm going to take them to win it on a Justin Herbert game-winning touchdown drive to win the game. 28-27 Chargers in a tough one against the Denver Broncos. Rams are heading to Green Bay, another amazing game, and I'm sorry if this video is getting kind of lengthy. There's so many good and close games this week, and I'm probably going to have a terrible pick'ems record because of it. This is one that me and Jay Fly, J100, as you guys might know him, go back and forth about because he's a big Rams supporter. He thinks the Rams are one of the better teams in the NFC, up there with the Buccaneers. I'm a big Green Bay supporter. I've been saying Green Bay is the best team in football. I just like the way the defense is playing, and you pair that with Aaron Rodgers and this offense, and they have depth at running back, is what A.J. Dillon is showing. Late in the season, they are built to win games. They're built to win in the playoffs. And I think they are going to win the playoffs. I got them winning the NFC. I'm going to stick with my guns. Even though they lost to Minnesota, it's a tough divisional game. It happens. You're going to drop those games. This Packers team is still 8-3 and humming. And one of those 3 losses came with Jordan Love out. They've only lost 2 games with Aaron Rodgers even playing in. And that Vikings game was like more of a kudos to Minnesota than a bash on Green Bay. Green Bay played a good game offensively. And Lambeau's so tough to go and win. Ask Russell Wilson from a couple of weeks ago. If you're a Western team, you're going to have a tough time going into Lambeau this time of year and pulling out a victory. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers to win it 20-10. Low-scoring game between these two high-powered offenses. And we got another close one. We got the Vikings traveling to San Fran to play the 49ers. And if this was in Minnesota, I'd probably take the Vikings without much thought. But having traveled across the country, go and see the 49ers in their home stadium, it's not the toughest place to play in the world. You're not going to deal with the elements. You're not going to deal with weather or anything like that. The Vikings seem to do this every year. They love going on mid-season playoff push where they just sneak into the wild card picture and then they don't cap it off at the end of the year, whether, knock on wood, there's a Dalvin Cook injury, whether Kirk just falls off the wagon and just stops playing well, the defense falls apart, whatever it might be each year, missing kicks, all that kind of stuff happens to the Vikings. A lot of misfortune surrounds this team. I think that they right the ship this year. You guys saw the bubble playoff team that we uploaded a couple days ago. If not, go check it out after this. And I took the Vikings as my team that's outside the picture to go on a run and make it to the wild card. And that was with me predicting that they lose to the Packers. Then they go on the run after the loss to the Packers. They beat the Packers. I still think that they go on a run, and I think that they're going to get either a 6 or 7 seed in the NFC. So this team has all the talent in the world, and that's why they need to start questioning what's going on coaching-wise. I'd be really interested to see one of these offensive-minded guys like a Brian Dable or Eric Bieniemy come into Minnesota next year, even with Kirk Cousins at quarterback, and see what they do. Maybe draft a guy, kind of like an Alex Smith situation with Patrick Mahomes, let him sit behind Kirk for a year or two, pick your guy, hand pick him, whoever the new head coach could become if Mike Zimmer's on his way out. And the Vikings may have something with Justin Jefferson and a quarterback pairing here for the long term. Even Dalvin Cook, if he can stay healthy over the next couple of years. We shall see what happens with Minnesota's future. I think they win this game. And I think they win this game in a tight one. The offense has showed that they can put up some points. I'm going to take the Vikings 31-28. I'm not going to say a game-winning field goal. I just think the 49ers come up short late in the game. Then we have the Sunday Night Football game. And you guys probably remember last year's Sunday Night Football game between the Browns and the Ravens. It was an absolute thriller. It might have been a Monday night game. It was a primetime game. Nonetheless, it's a famous game where Lamar Jackson goes into the locker room, takes a shit, comes back out the locker room, and throws a touchdown pass and wins the game. And we'll see which quarterback shows up. If it's going to be Tyler Huntley, I'm going to take the Browns to win this game. But you guys know how high I am on the Ravens and Lamar Jackson and how low I've been on the Browns. So you put that together. If Lamar Jackson's playing, I'm going to take the Ravens to win this one. In another close one, a little bit less scoring, I'm going to take the Ravens to win 24-21 in a close game, a little bit of a defensive battle. We've seen both these offenses kind of stalling a little bit over the last couple of weeks. And then Monday Night Football, the Seahawks going to Washington to play the Washington football team. Washington coming off a big win against Carolina. They got to feel like their chances at running at a wild card are still very much alive. Washington fans who've been following along on the channel, following along on TikTok, know how much that I was coming at Washington in the offseason and telling you guys that you're probably going to go 7-10. And they're on track to go around 8-9 or 7-10 as predicted. I don't think that this is going to be a wild card team, but they got to feel like it is in their hearts. I don't know. I just got a gut feeling, and I know I said last week Russell Wilson was going to have a bounce back game and go off in a little bit of a return game. And I think that he's going to put it all together and kind of give the Seahawks fan base one last run, one last string of great Russell Wilson games to miss him by when he goes to Pittsburgh in the offseason. I will say this. Russell Wilson is going out on his sword, man. The business move here is to just sit out. Don't risk injury. Don't risk losing any money. Don't risk continuing to play bad and worrying everyone about trying to sign you in the offseason, possibly or trade for you, I guess. But no, he says, I'm committed to Seattle. I'm committed to the Seahawks for the time being, for the rest of the season. Going to play it out no matter what our record's going to be. I don't care if we're going to be a 7-10 team by the end of the year. So you got to give him his respect. But Russ, think about yourself sometimes. You've given your all to this city. It's time. And I have you on my fantasy team. I'll be very upset if you sit out. All that being said, I think Russell Wilson has the bounce back game. And if he doesn't do it this week, I'll stop saying it week after week, because at a certain point, I'm not really predicting it anymore. I'm just going to keep saying it until it happens and then take credit for it, which is what I'm going to do. Yeah. I think Russell Wilson absolutely goes off on Washington, and they win 37-20. And there you go. That's all the games. A little bit out of breath for week 12. Let's hope it's not as stressful as it was for weeks 11, 10, 9, and 8, and all the other weeks this season, pretty much. All the crazy upsets and everything that's been going on. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, leave your picks in the comment section below. I really like to hear from you guys. We do this series on TikTok as well as here on YouTube now. Sorry, I had to focus the camera. Fixing it. Still working on having nice equipment for the first time. So yeah, I really appreciate if you comment your picks, or at least just talk about any games you disagree or agree with me on. Make sure you smash the like button. Smash the like button. I'm saying that now. I guess I'm a YouTuber. But anyways, pushing the like button, smashing the like button, clicking on the like button helps out a ton in the algorithm, which we're battling with every day. That's what I spend my whole life doing at this point. Gonna have more videos coming out. I'm working on a Detroit Lions victory celebration video, because I do think they're gonna beat the Bears this weekend. So keep a lookout for that on the channel this afternoon or tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you as always. I'm Mike, and I'm on the mic. This is me saying until next time.
I gave you fair warning, beware. Smack him in the toward the end zone. It is up for the touchdown. Smack him in the mouth. I gave you fair warning, beware. Smack him in the mouth.